Welcome, friends of the Evil Level Sudoku puzzle from websudoku.com. I think I may have a treat for you today because I've been studying this puzzle for a few minutes and I think it provides a few challenges for us. I haven't solved it, so let's see how it goes. Maybe I will finally get to use my pencil marks. Let's see. There is a 1 here, of course, and the 1 up here, so this cell must be a 1. That's easy enough, and now we need to find a 6, 8, and a 9 for these three cells. There's a 9 here, so this is a 9, and now we need to find a 6 and an 8 for these two cells. And that doesn't immediately lead to anything up here other than I now know that a 6 will have to go in one of these three cells and an 8 will have to go in one of these two cells. But we can find a 7 for this cell because of the 7 here and the 7 here. And now we need a 7 for one of these two cells. We can easily find a 4 for the top row, can't we? Because of the 4 here, here, and the 4 here. So the 4 will have to go here. Now we need a 3, 6, and a 9 to complete the top row. There's a 3 here, and let's see, there's a 9 and there's a 9 and a 3 here. So this cell now becomes a 6, and this must be a 3 because there's a 3 here, and the 9 will go here. Oh, that was pretty smooth, wasn't it? And that gives us a pair here. Can you spot that? You can pause the video and see if you can spot which two numbers will have to occupy these two cells. Well, I'm back, and the two numbers must be a 3 and a 7 because we have a 3 and a 7 here, and we have a 3 and a 7 here. And we have a 3 and a 7 here, so these two numbers will have to be 3 and 7 in some order. And believe it or not, that leaves us to a 9 for this cell. Because we have the 9 here and here, and that gives us a 9 for one of these two cells. But we already mentioned that one of these two cells will have to be a 3 or a 7, so it can't be a 9. So the 9 will go here. So bearing in mind that these two cells have to be a 3 and a 7, we still need to find a 1, 5, 6, and a 9 to complete this row 2. A 1, 5, 6, and a 9. And it so happens that we have a 1 and a 6 and a 9 that can see this cell. Therefore, it has got to be a 5. The 5 here and the 5 here puts a 5 in this cell. And now we still need to find a 1, 6, and a 9. The 9 will have to go in one of these two cells because of this 9 here. And we know that these two cells have to be 1s and 6s in some combination. Let's see if that gives me anything. No, it doesn't really. So let's continue work. Oh, yes. No, it doesn't. So let's continue working. But I'm noticing that we need a 2 and an 8 still to fill into row 3. And there's a 2 and an 8 here, and there's a 2 and an 8 here. So we really need to put a 2 and an 8 in these two cells, don't we? And that leaves a 1 and a 6 for this cell, a 1 and a 6 for this cell, and a 1 and a 6 for this cell. So this cell cannot be a 1 and it cannot be a 6 because of the unique rectangle issue that keeps popping up in New York Times puzzles, seemingly. So if it can't be a 1 and it cannot be a 6, what can it be? It cannot be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got to be a 9. And now we have a 1 and a 6 pair going on here. And actually, we have a 1 here that can see this cell. So this is a 1 and this is a 6, and that makes this a 1 and this a 6. I love it when the puzzle comes together like this. It's really satisfying. And I think we can resolve the 2s and the 8s. Let's have a look. We need to have 3, 7, and 8 for these 3 empty cells, right? And we know that this cell has to be a 7 or a 3. That means that one of these 2 cells will have to be an 8. And since one of these 2 cells will have to be an 8 as well, we now know that this cell must be an 8. And therefore, we have to put a 2 in this cell. And now the 2 here, and the 2 here, and this 2 in combination gives us a 2 for this cell. And the last remaining digit here now is going to be a 1. I've been so focused on this etude of 3 boxes that I've neglected to find a 7. There's a 7 here, and there's a 7 here, and there's a 7 up here. So clearly a 7 must go into this cell. Now we need a 4, 6, and an 8 for these 3 cells. There's a 6 here and here, so this cell must be a 6, and because of this 4, this must be an 8, and the 4 goes here. Now we know that one of these will have to be an 8, and therefore none of these can be an 8, and this cannot be an 8 because of the 8 here, so the 8 goes here. This is now a 7-3, and this is now a 7-3, and this is now a 7-3, and therefore this cannot be a 7-3. So what can it be? It cannot be a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4. It could be a 5, but not a 6 and not a 7 and not an 8 and not a 9. So a 5 it is. And now we have a 7-3 here and a 7-3 here, 2 7-3s up here, and we have a 6 and an 8 here. Let's see what else we can do. Well, we can find a 7 for this cell. And how do we do that? Well, there's a 7 here and there's a 7 here, and that makes a 7 in one of these 2 empty cells impossible. There's also a 7 up here, therefore we can't have a 7 here either. So the 7 must go here. 3, 4, and a 5 are still needed for this row 4. There's a 5 here and there's a 5 here. So the 5 will have to go in this cell, and this is now a 3 or a 4, and this is a 3 or a 4. However, there's a 3 already in this box that can see the cell, so clearly this is the 4 and the 3 goes here. We can do something about the 2 and the 4 and the 9 that are still missing to complete column 9. Because there's a 2 here and a 4 here, and they can both see this cell, and therefore it must be a 9. This is now a 2 and a 4, and there's a 2 here. That makes this cell a 2 and this cell a 4. And of course, because of the 4 down here, we now have a 4 in this cell. And I think we are still missing 1, 2 for the grid, and that is in this box. We have a 2 here, and we have a 2 here. So this cell must be a 2 now. And that takes care of the 2's for the entire grid. For the center row, we still need to find a 3 and a 1 and a 7. There's a 3 here and there's a 3 here. So this cell now is a 3. And look at what's happening now. We got the 3 here, we got the 7 here. So nice. And of course, the 7 must go here and here. I really like it when these things happen in a puzzle. Now we just need a 5 and a 9 for these two cells. There's a 5 here, so that's easy enough, like so. And these two cells have to be 1 and an 8. Let's see. And we have two ones here. I can't find anything. Oh, no, we'll have to work down here. Well, here we still need to input a 6, don't we? And that takes care of the 6 and the 8 pair we had from the beginning. And because of this 8 now, we can put an 8 in this cell and we can place a 9 in this one. The 9 here and the 9 here and the 9 up here gives us the 9 for the bottom row, and the last digit that we need here is a 6. Goes here. Let's see. For this row 8, we still need to find 1 and a 5. There's a 5 up here. So this becomes a 1 and this is a 5. And now, of course, this must be 1 and this is an 8. And this is an 8. And this last digit here has got to be a 3. And if we've done it all right, I think that we are home free. I hope that you enjoyed this puzzle. It was an evil level puzzle. I have really no idea how whipsudoku.com's algorithm works, but if you approach these puzzles without thinking about the difficulty, then you can solve many of them. But if you approach the puzzle thinking, oh, this is an evil level puzzle, I really need to use a lot of pencil marks because it's bound to be difficult, have another think. I hope you enjoyed this puzzle, and I hope that you will come back for more. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.